the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Senate, the House of Representatives, remember they did ask the FRSC to stop further production of the new number plate system, and eventually the FRSC Court Martial responded to that, and that's our focus this time. And as we're joined by Mr. Paul Eshiemomoh, who is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, it has indeed generated a lot of legal debates. Different legal practitioners, some of which have gone to court, saying in the first instance the FRSC had absolutely no business doing what they were doing at the time, and it was responsibility of the states, and hence the Senate and the House of Representatives are in order, they say. What's your perspective?
Thank you very much. I think the issue here is the legality of the Federal Road Safety Commission producing and designing the current number plates. My answer to that question is that they have the powers to produce and to design the number plates for Nigerians. It is not the responsibility of the states. It is the responsibility of the Federal Road Safety.
What kind of powers? Constitutional?
Yeah, the Federal Road Safety is a commission. It's a creation of law. And I had expected the National Assembly, before coming out to make that blanket statement, to have gone into their archives to check their laws.
Give us a
The Federal Road Safety Commission is created by the Act of the National Assembly. That is the Federal Road Safety Commission Establishment Act 2007. If you look at Section 10 of that Act, Section 10, subsection 3 of the Act makes provision for the functions of the Commission. And if you go down to paragraph D to F, I will read it out for the purpose of clarity. I don't want to say what is in my mind there. Section 10 provides there shall be established for the Commission a body to be known as the Federal Road Safety Corps, in this Act referred to as the Corps, which shall consist of such number of uniform and non-uniform members as may be determined from time to time by the Commission. Then if you look at the subsection 3, it provides for the function. It says, in particular, but without prejudice to the generality of the provision of subsection 2 of this section, members of the corps shall be subject to the provisions of this Act and shall be charged with the responsibility for, you go down to paragraph D of subsection 3, it says, determining from time to time the requirement to be satisfied by an applicant for a driver's license. F, designing and producing vehicle number plates.
So it is stated there very
clearly. Very clearly. And producing, section 10, subsection 3, D or F of the road, as the Federal Road Safety Commission Act.
So yeah, but it doesn't say anything about driver's license. It only says
it says driver.
It says that they can change and state the conditions to be met for driver's license. Does it say that they can issue driver's license?
I don't think so, sir. With respect, I think that if you look at driver's license, it's in subsection. Okay, let me read C and D. It said. Subsection D says, designing and producing the driver's license to be used by various categories of vehicles operators. I mean, it is clear when the law is out, when an act, the provisions of an act.
And this act hasn't been amended recently.
This is the recent amendment. This is the current, this is the 2007.
Okay, so are you saying that, having read those provisions of the FRSC Establishment Act, that the FRSC can design, produce and sell?
Yeah, well, the issue of sale, of course, when you have power to produce, of course, it's not producing for self-consumption. They are producing for the consumption of the public. And where there is a power to produce, of course, there is a power to sell. They may not. Actually, in reality, from my own study. I have done some research to find out what exactly is the position before coming here today, so that I don't speak out of context. The Federal Road Safety design the number plates. They say the actual marketing arm of these
FRSC.
of the products are through the states, and the pricing of the number plate was done by joint tax board of all the states of the federation. So the FRSC has a duty to produce and maybe sell to the states, who in turn now through their various VIO offices sell to members.
So when the Senate did say on that day that well, the whole issue of this number plates was putting hardship on Nigerians, it wasn't as if it was the FRSC that unilaterally fixed the amount that is being charged on these new number plates.
Precisely, that is the true position.
Tell us more about the Joint Tax Board.
Okay, the Joint Tax Board consists.
Who are they?
Okay, they consist of all the internal revenue boards of the various states of the federation. That is the 36 states, including the FCT. So when vehicle license, because the issue of taxation is not within the exclusive legislative, it's a concurrent issue. It's on the concurrent list of the Constitution. That is the laws that both federal government and the state can jointly make. So it is not an exclusive thing. So the issue of number plate and the prices to be paid is an issue of revenue.
Okay.
And taxation. So the joint tax board consists of all the internal revenue boards of the state who sat down, came together, sat down and said, okay, we are going to be selling at this. And remember, when we talk of number plates, it goes beyond just the plate.
Yeah.
A number plate includes the car identity number, and you pay for that in anywhere, including US, and it also include other things, other documents.
So are you saying now that the Senate and the House of Representatives, in fact the National Assembly, was wrong when it told the FRSC you have no business going about what you were doing with the driving license and the plate numbering?
With due respect to the National Assembly, they didn't get it there right.
They were wrong. That's what
yeah, but even with that, act setting them up, they're still subject to the National Assembly that made that particular act, in the sense that if they are asked to come and explain certain things about this, and they come and they are told to put it on hold, shouldn't they obey the National Assembly?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that the duty of interpretation of a law is vested in the judiciary, and it is the judiciary that has the power to implement and enforce law made by the National Assembly. Yes, I agree that the National Assembly has an oversight function. But then if you look at what took place on that day, because I was privileged to have watched the proceedings that day, you look at what took place there, the National Assembly, to my mind, took the functions of an adjudicator. In fact, as it stands now, they have already tried the Federal Road Safety Commission, and they have already passed sentence on them. And you don't do that without hearing them. What the National Assembly is doing now by saying, let us...
Are you saying that the court martial did not at any time appear either before the Senate or the House of Reps to explain the modalities of the rationale behind this?
Well, I'm not a staff of this thing.
Yeah, but you said they've already tried him without hearing.
Yeah, I mean, from what happened, the proceedings there, a man can be tried with or without his presence.
What if he tells you, what if they say he was actually there to explain to them, but since they were not satisfied with his explanation, they say, well, you can't go on with this.
Well, I don't have that information as to whether the court martial was at any time summoned. In fact, I know that we have the committee that has an oversight function over this, and that is the intergovernmental committee of the National Assembly. They oversee the activities of this thing. I am privileged to have known that after the launching of this current number plates. I think the launching was done sometime in September 2011, and the president of the federation was there. I also know that after that, in October, the chairman of this committee, Senator Kuta, who coincidentally happened to be the person that moved this motion, paid a courtesy call on the Federal Road Safety Commission. And I want to quote him. In his speech, he said, I quote, "The Federal Road Safety Federal Road Safety Commission is one of the fastest growing agencies in this country."
Yeah, but that's different from
that was it is not different. I said, remember, I said in September there was a launching.
Yeah, so
sorry, I get you because that is a member of the National Assembly, the Senate.
Yes.
Now, from the point of law,
and the chairman, sir,
as well as
the chairman of the committee overseeing.
I want us to take it from Marcus' point of view.
Yes.
I want to tie a question to all of that from the point of law.
Yeah.
Can the National Assembly, by sitting, void this act?
The National Assembly, with due respect, has no power to void this act or any law. What they can do is either to amend or to repeal. And there are procedures for doing that. They can't do it by mere resolution. They cannot. A resolution is just a resolution is a prayer urging.
What if their constituents have actually complained to say this amount being charged for these new number plates, let's say it's given that it is there in the act, and we've all seen that it is there in the act, and say, okay, well, fine, you really can produce the number plates.
Yes.
But the constituents have come to say it is outrageous. The amount being charged is something we really cannot afford. And the National Assembly is saying, look, our people cannot afford this, so put a stop to this. Can't they do that?
I think if the National Assembly begins to regulate the administration of government, then they'll be stepping outside their function. When there is a complaint, and that is why we have these committees that have oversight function over all the ministries, in fact the MDAs, the ministries, departments and agencies. A committee that oversees a ministry is like part of that ministry, because it has supervisory function over it. So if there is a problem, you first of all call the agency responsible. We have received complaint. How, first and foremost, those number plates were not made free.
okay.
It costs money. So you have to find out what is the cost of this number plate.
That's on another
Then
hand.
how much are you selling it to states, and how much are the states selling it? Then you now look at you look at the cost implication before coming out to make a public blanket statement.
Tell us, if you will, what is the function of the Motor Vehicle Administration Agency concerning driving license and plate numbering?
Motor Vehicle Administration Agency, is it the VIO you are referring to?
No, the MVAA, because they say that's the body supposed to be doing what you say, and you read that is the function of the FRSC.
Well, the society is governed by law in order not to create anarchy. And for any agency of government or arm of government to perform a function, it must either have a constitutional or a statutory responsibility for that. I have read here to you, this is the Act of the National Assembly. You can find it anywhere in the Federation, even in the laws of the Federation. It is there. It is a public document. And the National Assembly has said the designing and the production of vehicle licenses, driver's licenses and number plates is the responsibilities within the purview of the Federal Road Safety Commission.
And you say, of course, if you produce, you have to sell.
Yes, if you produce, of course, when they produce, like I said, sale is an incidence of production. It's an outcome of production.
So the JTB, Joint Tax Board,
yes.
What do? They collect the revenue on behalf of what? Of FRSC?
No, the revenue goes to the states. It goes to the revenue of the federation comes to the federation account. If you look at section 162, the subsection 1 of the Constitution, 1999 as amended, it says that the federal government shall open and maintain an account to be known as the federation account. And all monies accruable to the federal government goes to that account. Of course, we know how the federation account is shared between the three tiers of government. So all revenues collected by the Federal Road Safety goes to the government. In fact, if you look at section 8, subsection, if you look at section 8, subsection 2 of this act, it provides that revenues collected by the road safety or collected on their behalf, because they are, if you look at the schedule to the act, you see offenses created by the act and the punishment by fine.
But again, a quick one here. Such matters as number plates and licenses, should it be in the concurrent or exclusive list?
No, it is in the concurrent, because transportation and taxation is in the concurrent list. And anything that has to do with revenue comes by way of either tax, loan, or profit made by government agencies or companies.
I know that we're already being wound up, but quickly,
yes,
considering that most of the confusion or most of the disagreement has come over finance and the fact that people think it's a burden to the constituents or to their constituents, what would you advise the lawmakers to do?
Well, first and foremost, I would first of all want having known that the pricing of this number plate was not exclusively done by the Federal Road Safety, that the states, all the states of the Federation, made input. Then I think that the first thing they should do is to call the Joint Tax Board and find out from them what is the problem. Our people are complaining, please can you bring this thing down?
All right.
Because if you look at this thing, the cost at which the Federal Road Safety gives it to the state, it's not the cost at which the state sells it, because the states have to make their own profit from it too, probably. And when we talk of license, like I said, it includes a lot of things, documentation and other things too.